NVIDIA CEO amazed by Huawei phone performance. Fake foreigners on Xiaohongshu, AI and fake IPs. Aspirin tablet sparks buzz on China's hot search. Outrage as delivery driver puts his feet in food. CCP admits multiple disease outbreaks. 2025 is shaping up to be the quietest Lunar New Year travel season ever. NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang has been quite active recently in Taiwan and mainland China. During his time in Beijing, he even celebrated Chinese New Year with the staff at NVIDIA's Beijing office. At a Spring Festival gathering, someone showed him Huawei's latest Mate X3 foldable phone. After trying it out himself, Huang couldn't stop praising it, repeatedly using words like incredible and unbelievable to describe the phone. The video quickly went viral online. As the leader of the world's most advanced chip company, had Jensen Huang really never heard of Huawei's cutting-edge threefold design? If so, that would deeply offend nationalist sentiments in China. On the other hand, if he did know and was merely putting on an act, it could be seen as a subtle mockery. Interestingly, while some nationalists believed Huang might be engaging in a form of advanced trolling, they couldn't openly criticize him. Without explicit directives from above, they dared not take action against him. In the video, Huang shared his thoughts, saying, "I enjoy reading, and I didn't expect this phone's diverse folding modes to adapt so well to different reading scenarios." He also specifically noted, "The screen on this phone is huge. It seems great for watching movies." Huang even compared the Huawei Mate X3 to regular phones, commenting in Chinese, "The thickness is about the same, right?" His visit to Beijing unexpectedly earned him a new nickname, Actor. Online, people couldn't stop talking about it. His acting is over the top. That's why NVIDIA is so successful. Great acting and flawless cooperation. Impressive, truly impressive. The performance is real. Some criticized the situation, questioning why Huang had to showcase a Huawei phone. Despite Huawei's reputation as a leader in the market, its value-for-money ratio leaves much to be desired. In China, some nationalists go to great lengths to buy Huawei phones, spending 10,000 yuan on a device that's only worth 3,000 yuan because not buying one might label them as unpatriotic. For the sake of patriotism, they feel compelled to purchase. This loyalty partly explains Huawei's high sales figures. However, Huawei's product quality and after-sales service have often been criticized. The phones come pre-installed with a load of unnecessary software, and their marketing strategies frequently involve scarcity tactics and exaggerated claims. The company has been accused of being unreasonably aggressive in its business practices. Critics of Huawei often find themselves silenced, receiving legal threats and being forced to apologize or disappear.
I think Huawei should recall all X6 phones and give users a proper explanation. Honestly, I'd call this phone industrial waste while using it. For example, scrolling through Douyin or doing other tasks, I notice a serious issue with the sound vibrations. In a specific area of the phone, I can clearly feel an intense vibration through my hand. I've been a loyal supporter of Huawei from the X series to the current X6, but this problem is too big to ignore, and I don't understand why none of the tech reviewers have mentioned it. It's not right. Huawei needs to take responsibility and recall these phones. Huawei CEO Yu Chengdong is such a flip-flopper. He just announced that by 2025, Huawei would fully use Harmony OS. But then I found out that the overseas version of the Pura 70 is running on Android. After all the sanctions and losing Google services, that's like not being able to use WeChat in China. You'd think the phone would be nearly useless. But when I checked out Huawei phones in Bangkok stores, I was shocked to see they came preloaded with Google Maps, Google Photos, YouTube, and everything else. Now for Google apps to work, the phone needs Google mobile services. Google cut off Huawei's license back in 2019. So what's going on here? Did Google secretly make a deal with Huawei despite the US ban? Then I saw it, Magic G. It's a workaround Huawei uses to simulate Google's authorization. Honestly, it's clever. But isn't this just sneaking back in through the back door? After everything, Huawei is still walking the old Android compatibility road. That promise of a pure Harmony OS looks like it's still a long way off.
跟大家报个猛料，最近在那个抖音
In the video, the man says, "Let me share some insider info. Recently, platforms like Xiaohongshu and Douyin have been flooded with so-called TikTok refugees. But here's the truth. They're all fake accounts created by us, Chinese users. The reason is simple. In China, registering on social media platforms requires ID and phone number verification. Foreign influencers who've never been to China obviously don't have the necessary ID or phone numbers to pass verification. These accounts are purely a strategy for making quick money. They gain followers rapidly, and once their audience grows, they start selling products to cash in. The recent trend of foreigners flocking to Chinese platforms like Xiaohongshu has sparked widespread attention. However, some users have discovered that many of these videos are AI-generated. Some IP addresses are fake, and certain Xiaohongshu users have even boasted about pretending to be foreigners to quickly gain followers. On January 15th, a user going by the name Li bragged by saying, "I pretended to be a foreigner, and I went viral on Xiaohongshu. Unstoppable! Guys, this is the secret to traffic. My views have already surpassed tens of thousands." A user posted a video claiming that many foreigners on Chinese platforms might actually be fake. He said, "I saw the same person with different IP addresses, one showing Japan, another showing Korea. Honestly, I'm speechless." Another user shared, "I came across a Xiaohongshu account where someone changed their location, used an AI-generated image of a foreigner, posted just 3 notes, and gained tens of thousands of followers." On Weibo, one user commented, "These past few days, every time I scroll, it's all foreign beauties. Some of them I recognize as big influencers from Instagram. These women are mostly active on Instagram and rarely use other platforms. Some people caught on to this, started re-uploading their videos, and pretended to be foreigners themselves. At first, it might have been for fun, but when they saw how well it worked, they just went all in, faking their nationality. You can set your IP to anywhere you want. As for monetizing this, there are plenty of ways. Some people even use AI-generated photos to fool everyone. Our people are just too easy to trick." Another person commented, "Pretending to be foreigners to deceive fellow citizens? It's not like this hasn't happened before. Remember that so-called Russian Nana who spoke with a thick northeastern accent? That was only a few days ago." Back in 2022, a Douyin account named Russian Nana suddenly went viral in China. This influencer had blonde hair, blue eyes, a high nose bridge, and deep-set eyes, a textbook Western appearance. She claimed to be from Russia and frequently greeted viewers with,
中国的兄弟姐妹们，你们好，我是俄罗斯娜娜。
"Hello, my Chinese brothers and sisters," while expressing her love for Chinese culture every video. However, sharp-eyed viewers noticed visible stitching marks around her facial features. Despite her Russian-accented Chinese, her singing was flawless, with precise pronunciation and a melodious tone. Eventually, it was revealed that she was faking her identity. Following this, a warning spread online. Be cautious, AI-generated foreigners are flooding Xiaohongshu, hiding all kinds of schemes. Recently, while browsing Xiaohongshu, I've seen these so-called foreign friends praising Chinese culture and food. But if you look closely, many are AI-generated. Their stiff facial expressions and unnatural movements give them away. Even their captions are full of errors, clearly cobbled together by machines. The post added, "If this is just part of an MCN agency's operations to gain followers and sell products, it's relatively harmless. But if it's tied to scam syndicates in places like northern Myanmar, that's terrifying to think about." Another user warned actual foreigners, "Foreigners aren't as cautious as us Chinese. Registering an account on Xiaohongshu practically exposes you to scam networks in northern Myanmar. You could end up falling for romance scams and losing everything. To those foreigners flooding Xiaohongshu, I can only say, good luck." Recently, a chemistry class experiment at a high school in Beijing involving aspirin tablets unexpectedly made it to Baidu's trending list on January 21st. Here's what happened. The school previously used enteric-coated aspirin tablets made in Germany, which clearly showed color changes before and after hydrolysis during the experiment. However, the school later switched to cheaper domestically produced coated aspirin tablets. This time, the solution changed color even before hydrolysis, making it impossible to demonstrate demonstrate the contrast effectively. But the real issue here isn't the failed chemistry experiment. It's about the potential health risks. If patients are taking these Chinese-produced aspirin tablets, the side effects could be severe, damaging the stomach significantly. In China, the problem of inaccessible healthcare has long been a source of frustration. Even for those who can afford treatment and medication, under China's healthcare system, it's often impossible to buy high-quality drugs. A few years ago, China's National Healthcare Security Administration began organizing provincial alliances to purchase drugs in bulk. The initiative, promoted as a way to secure affordable, high-quality medication for the public, aimed to lower costs through collective procurement. But in practice, while drug prices may have dropped, so has their effectiveness. Some medications come with significant side effects, and neither doctors nor patients have any choice over which drugs are available. One netizen posted, "As a clinical doctor, I can absolutely speak on this issue. The efficacy of drugs procured through collective purchasing is indeed inferior to imported medications. By blindly driving down drug prices, the ones who ultimately suffer are ordinary people like us. Don't they understand this simple principle? Sure, you can discount and lower prices for everyday items, but should life-saving medications be treated the same way? I've been wanting to vent about this for a long time. It's just like the domestically produced steel plates and joint implants being pushed through collective purchasing now. The quality is genuinely poor. I still don't understand the point of this system. While it may have made accessing healthcare easier, it's drastically lowered the quality of care. Who's the real victim in all of this?" Another netizen recounted his personal experience. "A few months ago, my wife had a terrible headache. We went to the hospital, got a CT scan, and was prescribed a bunch of traditional Chinese medicines. Sure, it was covered by insurance, but they were completely useless. She was in so much pain she clung to my waist crying, and after 2 days of this, she was nearly blind from crying, and my waist was black and blue. My wife also has a heart condition. I looked it up and found that Pfizer in the US has a new drug called Vindamax, which doesn't appear to have the same heart-related side effects as other original drugs. It had already been approved for sale in China, so I went to a pharmacy several kilometers away and spent 360 yuan on a package. The medicine couldn't be paid for using our health insurance balance, but I gave her one pill, and it worked. There's still one left in the fridge. My question is, why can't original drugs be included in insurance, but traditional Chinese medicines are? What's the point?" Another netizen posted, "Our local health insurance policy prohibits the use of pain pumps after surgery, even if you're willing to pay for it yourself. After a 6-hour abdominal surgery, I was told this. It was a nightmare. I was extremely angry, but I had no choice but to endure the pain." Someone else added, "Last month, my mom had a hysterectomy. They didn't allow her to use a pain pump or even give her pain relief injections. I was so furious I wanted to curse someone out." Many commentators believe this is because outdated methods and technologies are more profitable. One said, pain pumps don't make money, so they just ban them. The general sentiment among netizens is that China's healthcare system prioritizes profits over patients. Health insurance policies don't care if patients are in unbearable pain after surgery. They only focus on money. The current collective drug purchasing system in China has essentially consolidated power across financial, drug regulatory, industrial, health, and personnel sectors, creating a super powerful administrative department. This centralized authority is neither restrained nor concerned about how to treat illnesses, save lives, or shorten recovery times. Its sole focus is to maximize revenue. Everyone knows there's no shortage of safety concerns in mainland China, especially when it comes to food. But seeing your meal delivery next to someone's smelly feet, that's enough to make anyone lose their appetite. Recently, a netizen on Xiaohongshu revealed that on January 19th, she passed by a Starbucks in Chengdu and witnessed a delivery driver resting both feet inside an insulated box meant for food storage. The box was placed on the footrest of an electric scooter while the driver lay on the vehicle, using the box as a makeshift foot warmer. They wrote, "I've passed by the Starbucks several times recently, and every time I've seen the same thing. It's truly unacceptable. Just thinking that the food I order might come from this area and be stored in a box like that makes me lose my appetite instantly." The incident sparked widespread attention online. Some netizens swore off food delivery entirely, saying, "I promise I'll never order takeout again." No matter how cold it gets, you shouldn't put your feet in there. That's food people are going to eat. Others sympathized with the delivery workers' challenges, commenting, "It's really unsanitary, but I feel bad for the drivers too. They work so hard." Honestly, this is what we can see. Imagine all the things we can't. Some pointed to the responsibility of delivery platforms, arguing, "This kind of behavior reflects a lack of proper training by the platforms. Such misconduct creates a negative perception of the entire industry, making people think it's poorly managed and unregulated. It doesn't just hurt the individual's reputation, but also hinders the healthy development of the whole industry. There must be consequences." In China, delivery drivers are generally classified as either dedicated drivers or crowdsourced drivers. Dedicated drivers are hired and managed by companies working with delivery platforms, while crowdsourced drivers register independently with platforms, working flexible hours and choosing how many orders to take. As the Chinese New Year approaches, people across China are traveling between regions to reunite with their families. In a rare move, the Chinese Communist Party, known for downplaying the true extent of public health crises, has admitted to the spread of multiple infectious diseases. However, many citizens worry that the situation is far worse than what the authorities have disclosed. On January 16th, the CCP officially acknowledged that various illnesses, including COVID-19, mycoplasma pneumonia, H1N1-related acute necrotizing encephalopathy, and others, are spreading in different regions and among specific populations. The winter to spring season in China has exacerbated the prevalence of respiratory pathogens, pushing flu cases to their peak and keeping the country in a high-risk state for flu transmission. The holiday season's increased travel and gatherings are expected to amplify the spread of these diseases, leading to concurrent or alternating outbreaks of multiple respiratory illnesses, a trend likely to continue. What's particularly alarming is that while the CCP has admitted to the ongoing spread of COVID-19, mycoplasma pneumonia, and human metapneumovirus, reports from citizens suggest that the real situation has been dire for months. Areas like Beijing, Tianjin, Shanghai, Jiangsu, Wuhan, and Sichuan have been overcrowded with hospitals and a surge in death tolls. For instance, at the emergency infusion room of Jintan Hospital, part of Shanghai's First People's Hospital, patients of all ages fill the seats. The head nurse revealed to the media that since December 20th, the daily number of patients requiring infusions has exceeded 800, pushing the hospital beyond its capacity. According to Chinese media, a mother in Beijing described her struggle to get medical care for her child who developed a cough and fever. Despite visiting multiple hospitals, she couldn't secure an appointment due to overcrowding. It wasn't until 9 p.m. that she managed to get a registration number, over 1,000 in the queue at the Beijing Children's Hospital. After waiting for more than 3 hours, her child finally saw a doctor after midnight. Reports from January 18th detail numerous recent deaths among children and young people due to the virus surge. In one heartbreaking case, the grieving mother in Hunan recounted losing both of her daughters to H1N1-related acute necrotizing encephalopathy. In another development, Shanghai announced a 3-year suspension of live poultry trading, fueling speculation that a deadly avian flu outbreak may have occurred, though authorities have remained tight-lipped. The widespread outbreaks in mainland China have overwhelmed hospitals, caused death tolls to spike, and even led to long queues at crematoriums. Despite the dire situation, the CCP continues to conceal the full extent of the crisis, leaving citizens unprepared and vulnerable. After a year of hard work, many people in China are packing their bags to return home for the Chinese New Year. In the past, scenes of the Lunar New Year festival rush were so chaotic they could have made it into the Guinness World Records. However, this year, China is witnessing its quietest Lunar New Year travel season in history. In videos circulating online, train stations and carriages appear sparsely populated, a stark contrast to the usually overcrowded, bustling scenes of years past. China's New Year travel season runs from January 14th to February 22nd, lasting about 40 days. Official estimates predict nationwide cross-regional trips will reach 9 billion this year, an increase of around 7% compared to 2024. The Lunar New Year travel rush traditionally includes various modes of transportation, such as railways, highways, aviation, and railways, as people return to their hometowns to celebrate Lunar New Year with their families. On January 15th, Mr. Wu, a resident of Shanghai, told Radio Free Asia, "It's gone. The economy is in decline, and it's affecting everything. There's no festive atmosphere for the new year. Everything looks normal, like any other day. No sense of celebration. Supermarkets are empty, and many have shut down. A few days ago, I went out to buy something and saw many supermarkets closed because they couldn't stay in business. In the past, you'd have to wait in line for half an hour to check out. Now you can pay as soon as you're done shopping. People just aren't spending anymore." Mr. Gao, a resident of Wuhan, shared a similar view. During the Spring Festival, consumer spending here has dropped significantly. The trade fairs we held saw many vendors leave early. They tried selling for a day or two, but left when sales were poor. The only ones still spending are retirees with pensions. Ordinary people have no money to spend. It's getting worse every year. What can you do? He added, "There aren't many people at train stations either. Aside from students traveling for winter break, not many others are taking trains." Despite these observations, state media outlet Xinhua reported that railway passenger volume during the Spring Festival is expected to reach 510 million trips, averaging 12.7 million passengers per day, a 5.5% increase from last year. Mr. Guo, a resident of Tengzhou in Shandong, said, "This year, far fewer migrant workers are returning home for their New Year. It doesn't feel the same as before. Many workers already came back earlier. Tengzhou, which is a midway stop between Shanghai and Beijing, used to have over 10 daily train stops. Now there's only one, and there's no return trip from Beijing to Tengzhou anymore, forcing people to take high-speed rail. The economy is so bad that many can't even afford the train fare." Meanwhile, Mr. Liu, a liquor seller in Jiangsu, expressed his frustration. Liquor is a must-have for every household during the new year, but sales this year have been terrible, down by more than 50%. If people can't even afford liquor, which is a staple for the holiday, it's clear the real economy has collapsed. Experts believe that China's post-pandemic economic recovery has fallen short of expectations. The struggling real estate market, coupled with global economic uncertainty, has led to widespread factory closures, soaring unemployment, and plummeting incomes. For many, economic hardships have even cut off their sources of income entirely. This has weakened consumer purchasing power, leaving goods unsold, which in turn worsens the financial struggles of businesses. If the cycle continues, experts warn of another wave of factory closures on the horizon.